Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Monday Night Wellness Stories. I'm Sherry Danzig, and tonight you're going to hear a few stories about some great products, and it's our experiences that we're sharing. We're not trying to fill in any details or um, explaining the technologies or the products. If you have questions about what you hear, we hope you will reach out to the person that invited you to listen in and get more information. We are excited to share stories, and we think stories are the best way to open our minds to, well, what we call a better way of taking care of your health, of ways to support your well being, to give you a better environment that will help you have the most optimal health. So we do that all naturally. These products are from a company called Niken. So without further ado, I'm going to have Sonia Faith come in and sorry, I mispronounced your name, and come in and share a story.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to share today. I've been using Niken products for over 20 years, and I still get excited about them. This is the Magduo. It was last Friday. I had a bit of an uncomfortable night. I didn't sleep well. My tummy was kind of bothering me. I woke up in the morning. It was still bothering me. Uncomfortable. I was actually having trouble standing up straight. I had an appointment I had to go to at 9 o'clock and thought, well, what am I going to do? I didn't know if I had eaten something odd the night before. I had no idea, except that I was uncomfortable. The Mag Duo was sitting on the table, and it didn't occur to me. Yeah, I thought, well, let's give that a shot. Why wouldn't I? Picked it up, and it just started rubbing it all over my tummy. And I rubbed it probably 5 minutes, and I started to feel better. I was standing up straighter. The discomfort was starting to go away. Another 2, 3, 4 minutes with just a nice, comfortable rub, and I felt better. And I was amazed. As always, I was absolutely amazed. I ended up going out. I did my appointment first thing in the morning, went out and had late breakfast with a girlfriend, and I felt perfectly fine. I am so grateful for the Mag Duo.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Thanks for sharing, Sonia.
You're welcome.
Next, we're going to hear from Gloria.
Yeah, this has been my friend for over 24 years now. Right after I had bought this back in 1998, my daughter had a horrific horseback riding accident. She did a Christopher Reeves. That horse stopped. She went over. She broke her helmet. And the people that were with her, I wasn't with her, brought her back, never even called me, didn't take her to the hospital, just brought her back all banged up and very much in shock, very, very much in shock. And I remember being told that this will calm the body, and she needed to be calmed. Mm-hmm. And if that means taking out stress, whatever it means for the cells, I didn't care. She stood in front of me, and I went around her body like this in the air and just let this energy go all over her. And in about 5 or 10 minutes, she said, I felt like a witch doctor. I mean, the noise and it was just a crazy moment in my head and being so concerned about her. And then she said, I think I can lay down now. And so we let her lay down. We made sure she wasn't falling asleep because we were taking her to check for a concussion. But it was that palpable. She knew that something had happened, that she had instantly calmed down. It wasn't just being home with mom and dad. Something physically good happened. And my favorite thing to do with this is to do this behind someone's back and let the energy go through my hand and into their back. We talked about skeptics last week. This is my favorite skeptic buster. And I used it Sunday afternoon with a gentleman that we were talking about those quick connections. We were talking to this man for 2 hours at his booth of where he sells carpets and rugs at an outdoor market. And he was so curious about this when he said, what do you do? It's always in my bag. I always have it to pull out. And I said, will you let me loosen up your back without touching you? He was game. And that was it. He rotated his back, saw how stiff it was, did this for a minute behind him, and then he rotated a lot further, and the big smile on his face, and he is he's in. He wants to be a customer. He doesn't know where to start. He doesn't know what he wants to do, but he just knows that he has discovered something good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the CM cream, it works so fast you almost forget where you put it. I mean, you just move from spot to spot with it. It
Mm-hmm.
just relaxes the muscles. I've got a lot of customers who have done crazy things like the Iron Man. They put it on before, they put it on after, they call it their magic cream.
Yep. I know. We call it magic cream in our house also. Isn't that interesting? That's not a medical claim, it's magic. So I want to share a few stories. And as I was hearing the two of y'all share, I think I've thought of like 6 other stories with those that Magduo. I always keep it in my purse as well. And I'm gonna go back to a couple of things. One is being a massage therapist of over 30 years. It was the thing that really spoke to me, as a massage therapist, because I was doing deep work, neuromuscular therapy. And so it's invasive. It's something that you work right up to the edge of where somebody's really hurting. And so I didn't like it, the fact that I had clients that thought I was kind of a, torturer or something, that I worked. I mean, they loved me. They kept coming. But there was a joke about, the fact that I didn't do fluff work. I was doing deep work. So when I was introduced to the magnets and to the Mag Duo, it was so great because it allowed my work to be less invasive. It also saved my hands. I didn't have to work as hard, because what I would do is I'd find an area that was a trigger point. So it was a place where there was a concentration. You know it on your body because it's where you hurt, but it's where the nerves are getting, over stimulated, over, compressed and so forth. And so I would simply stop what I was doing with the hands-on massage, pull up the sheet and roll that on their back. I'm sitting here doing it like I've got it in my hands for about a minute or two, no longer than that. I was very aware that they were coming to see me not for me rolling a device, but they wanted my hands. But just a couple of minutes, and then I'd go back in, and sometimes I would have them, actually tell me where it was on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being it was excruciating, 1 being, not much of anything. And so if it was in that 7 or 8 range, and then I would work for 1 or 2 minutes, and they would report back in that it was a 2 or a 3 or even a 4, but I had done that in just a couple of minutes, and there was no invasiveness in my work from that. So I saw that. I have hundreds of times, because I've done hundreds of massages with that device. So I know how effective it is at getting really deep, because when we hurt, we often are the discomfort is deep in the body. It's not superficial. And so that device, that's the beauty of that device, is that by rolling it, it goes deeper in the body. Another example that I have to share, and I was sharing this with my team the other day because Debbie has grandchildren who are playing baseball. My daughter was a little pea pie, 5 or 6 years old, playing soccer, and a couple of times we were out on the field and somebody was getting carried off by their mother because they were having trouble breathing. They had a breathing condition and they were having trouble catching the breath. And this was so early on in my Nikken days where I was like, I think this is going to work. But what I did is I approached the mom and I said, I have something that maybe can help your child breathe easier. Are you willing to let me try it? Well, the child didn't know me, so I certainly wasn't going to roll something on their chest. But I stood in front of them with that. And I'm sorry, I don't have it in my hands, but I sat there and got the ball spinning in front of them. So I was probably 12 inches away from their chest. And just simply doing that within a minute or two, they were breathing normally again. And both of the times I did it, they were going to have to be taken home, out of practice, out of the game. They were able to stay there. They were able to recover with that simple experience. So boy, did that really teach me how effective, again, that this device is. The last story that I want to share was my own. I was out to lunch a couple of weeks ago with a friend who knows about the product. She's a customer and she uses the products herself. And I always wear the back magnet on my back, but I have a bad back. I have a back that's problematic. And whatever I had done from the day before, my back was getting that really achy feeling. It did not feel good. And I wasn't going to sit there at lunch because if I sat there, I would have not really enjoyed my lunch because I was suffering. I pulled the device out and I'm rolling it on my tummy and we're in a booth and she's like, "What are you doing?" Because she just can see my hand moving. I'm like, I held that up and she goes, "Oh, okay." And I'm telling you, within again, it was like 2 minutes. My back completely relaxed. It completely calmed down, and that was the end of it. I put it in my purse and, went on and enjoyed my lunch. So I love that it's a way to teach you and allow you to give yourself a massage, because you can work on your tummy and it affects your back because of the nature of the energy that it sends it all the way back deep into the body. So can't say enough about this particular product. I loved all these stories that we were sharing. I think we're going to call that a wrap for tonight. So thank you all for being here. We meet pretty much every Monday night. So invite your friends, invite your curious people that would like to learn more about these products so they can hear some more great stories. Thank you all and good night.